My face looks a little different than usual. I'm wearing a white eyeliner, which is definitely out of the norm for me. It's because I filmed a video where my geckos picked out my makeup, and it's here on this channel already out. You can go watch it. I'll include it in the links below, and at the end of this video it's also going to be one of those little cards at the end, so you can click on that. But please watch this video first, because this is where you get to meet some of the geckos that are featured in that video. This video, as you saw by the title, is all about every single one of the geckos that I have. In this video, you'll get to see every single one of my geckos that I have, from my leopard geckos to my African fat tail to my cave gecko and my crested gecko Ree. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy meeting all of my geckos. Oh, and before we get started, I want to say that this is a feeding video and an introductory video to the geckos, so you're going to be seeing some of them eating and some of them not eating. So if you're sensitive to geckos eating worms, I would not watch this video. It obviously is going to feature some of them eating worms, and I do not want to make anyone uncomfortable, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer in here. Please do not watch the video if you are not comfortable with seeing an animal eating a worm. If you are cool with it and you've seen my videos before, then just keep on watching. So that slumbering gecko is Marjorie. She is a gecko that has stunted growth, and she's also a rainwater albino, I believe. Morph isn't really important to me, but I'm pretty sure that's what she was labeled as when I got her. She was 19 grams at almost a year old, which is really, really small. Fortunately, now that she's just over 2 years old, she turned 2 back in April, she is a full-grown size, so she is a big leopard gecko. Well, not big, but she's big compared to what she was. Now she weighs like 40-something grams, which is just really incredible. Just kidding, realized I had to wake up this little one to feed her. So right now I'm spraying her humid hide, and she is quickly running away because she is tired and grumpy and wants to go back to sleep. Sorry, little Marjorie. One important thing to know about Marjorie is that she has a neurological disorder and she has to be tongue-fed. Come on, sweetheart. Oh, almost. It's okay. Come on. Almost. Good girl. We don't know what caused her neurological disorder. We can only assume it's an incubation issue or a genetic issue, like she's the crossing of 2 albinos, for example, or 2 albino strains, I should say. That could be the cause. But I'm not going to do all of her feeding on camera because it would take a while. So this is Asha. She's not a leopard gecko, she's an African fat tail, but I only have one African fat tail, so I include her in all of my leopard gecko videos and whatnot, even though she is not a leopard gecko. She has stunted growth, basically from just having a spinal defect. As you can see, she has a humpback. It's nothing serious. It can also be kind of hard to tell because she's standing on a little bit of a raised platform, but she has a little bump on her back, and that's her humpback. She's an excellent little gecko with a feisty personality, and I'm so happy to have her. She's very easy otherwise. She just has little stunted growth. She's a small gecko. This feisty female is Lyanna. Very accordingly named in my opinion. But she's a healthy gecko. She's a year old, actually like a couple months ago. I think she was born in May. And she's feisty, she does not like being handled, and she will bite me given the chance because she thinks everything is food. The dog, my leg, the vacuum cleaner. But she's a good gecko otherwise. This little lady is Arya. She's a little thing. Look at her. Take down that superworm though. Lately she's had such a good appetite. I'm so happy about it. When I first got Arya, she came with her sister who was named Sansa. If you don't know, Sansa is no longer with us, but fortunately Arya is. They both came from a pretty unhealthy adoption situation. If you want to learn more about it, I have a series on this channel called Reptile Profile, and it's where I talk about where I got each of my reptiles, what they're like, things like that. But I'll talk about all the issues that Arya had when I first got her in that video, so you can learn more about her there. But right now, she's doing really well. She's very food oriented. Look, she wants more. And she's just a beautiful little lady. A very little, beautiful super snow leopard gecko. So, this is Benjen. You'll see here in a minute his face when I actually put the worm in there. Come on out, Benny. Come on, Ben. This one move too much for you, buddy? Yeah, look, come on out. Here, try a different one. Come on, Benny, I know you're interested. Come on, Bubba. Come on. Yeah, look, I know you're interested. Come on. Come on out. Oh, Ben. You're missing out, dude. This is a good one. And usually he comes right out, so this is not normal for him. Come on. Okay, so we're gonna try something else. Okay. There you go. So right now Benny has some superworm guts on his face, but he's not injured or anything, don't worry. Oh, almost. Come on. He's a very soft number. Come on. Yeah, you're doing great. Come on, you almost got him. Here, come on. You almost got him. Come on. Good boy. Oh, hold on. Good boy. Well, you crunched his head like 8 times, so he's definitely a goner. Good job, Benny. So as you can see, Benjen has a very odd face. He has an underbite and a deformed skull. He actually has indentations in his skull, but like right behind his eyeballs. He also doesn't put weight on very well, so he's a very skinny gecko with a skinny body. Other than that, he has a really picky appetite, and sometimes he can be really weird about his movements. Sometimes he can kind of go catatonic. It's a weird thing, but other than that, he's a good gecko. He's a good, healthy guy. If you want to learn more about him, he also has a reptile profile that's out. And he even has a welcome home video. That's also a series on this channel where you can see the process of me bringing the geckos home and their first few weeks here. Benjen has been with me for over a year now. He's a very special little guy, and I'm so happy to have him. So this is Varys, and he is a big gecko. But you wouldn't believe it, he was half this size when I got him, and not because he was a baby, but because he was underfed, and therefore he was super skinny. But now he's healthy, and he's a great eater, and there's not much else to say about him other than he's just a really beautiful, well-behaved boy. Oh, he's a Max Snow, for anyone who cares about morphs. But he's just a good guy. And he also has a reptile profile for anyone. He's chasing my shadow. Whoop, whoop. You silly, silly guy. So behind this human hide is my sweet, sweet little Meera. She gets startled easily because she has impaired vision. Whoops, I knocked my camera. But she's a really, really great gecko, and I've had her for a few months now, since February. So she's getting along really well. Look at how she's standing right now. It's okay, come here. Good girl, good girl. I know, don't be alarmed, it's okay. Good girl. Oh, that's alright. That's alright. So Meera is a gecko that has deformed eyelids, which is why she has impaired vision. And she also might have stunted growth. We have to wait and see. She's really put on weight well, but I don't know if she'll ever become as big as she could have, due to the fact that she was not fed well when she was younger. And I believe that she needed assisted feedings or something, just because of her eyes. However, I feed her out of this bowl and she eats all of her food without problem, so I'm just thinking she just purely wasn't fed enough food to actually grow to her full potential, which is just sad. But if you want to know more about her, like I said with the other geckos, and this is probably the last time I'll say it, just so you guys know, but reptile profile series, welcome home videos, if you are attached to any gecko in particular, you can go learn more about them. But this is Meera, and I'm gonna go give her some mealworms in this bowl. Okay, come here, Eddard. Oh, good job, bud, good job. I gotcha. I won't let you fall off. So this is Eddard, and as you can see, he is a unique gecko. He has Enigma syndrome, which is a neurological disorder that causes problems with balance and coordination. You will notice that like a bunch of my geckos have neurological disorders, most specifically Enigma syndrome. He's the first one I'm introducing to you that has Enigma syndrome. However, you will meet many more. But Eddard is just an absolute delight. Look at him, he's just beautiful. And if you want to know more about Enigma syndrome, I have a whole video series about it, so I recommend watching that. It's very informational. He's about to jump out of his house because he thinks a paper towel roll is more worms. That's just Eddard, this precious little boy. Aren't you, buddy? You're just a sweetie. Oh, thank you for letting everyone see your beautiful eyes. I've had Eddard for 2 years now, and he was one of the first Enigmas that I got, and he's what really inspired me to get so many more and to help so many more. But he's just a sweetheart. He's just like a lovely gecko. Okay, bye now. We're gonna go move on to Jojen. So this gecko is Jojen. He has white and yellow syndrome, which is similar to Enigma syndrome, but it comes with the white and yellow morph, not the Enigma morph. And he's just a delightful little boy. You will see his syndrome here in a second. Let me get a super worm for him. See that? Did that head sway? Whoa. Come on. Come on. Almost, almost. Keep trying. Don't give up. Don't give up. You almost got it. Almost. Almost. He doesn't take well to tongue feeding, which is why I let him hunt on his own. Watch, he's gonna go right back to his house every single time. But he doesn't take well to tongue feeding. In fact, for most of his juvenile time, he's about 1 year old, by the way, but for most of the time when he was smaller, he would eat out of a bowl. But now that his food is bigger and he's more confident, he's able to hunt it like that. So I'm really proud of his progress. Yeah, that's Jojen. You wouldn't get to see much of him, but he's a very private guy, and actually he's huge for his age. Like, other geckos I have that are similar age to him are nowhere near his size. He's gonna be a big gecko when he's full grown. I'm very excited for that. So this gecko is Merlin, and I'm not going to feed him on camera because he's very difficult to feed. I have to like cast a shadow over him with my head and try to like entice him to eat the food. He's a very particular gecko. He's actually a lot like Benjen. They came from the same place. Look, he's so ready for dinner. Oh gosh, I'm Marjorie, how you doing? So as you can see, he has a very odd shaped head as well. He has very pointed, large ears. His head is kind of shaped like an arrow. His shoulder blades stick out, his spine sticks out. He has a very wide rib cage. And in general, he's just a weird looking gecko. I think he's beautiful, of course, but he is a weird looking gecko. He is an Enigma, so he doesn't have Enigma syndrome, but a lot of his weird bodily structure comes from being an Enigma in the first place. So I'm gonna go feed him off camera. My apologies about that, but he's just too difficult to feed. Say bye, Merlin. This is Vash. This is my fiance's gecko, and he is a very normal gecko. He has no health problem. Hey, come back out. I have food for you. He's a very healthy gecko. He's a very normal gecko. Oh, he's about to eat. He is just an easy guy. Oh, and he's named after Vash the Stampede, and we've had him since, oh gosh, 2016, so 2 years now. Bye. So that gecko is Myrcella. I'm gonna get her a worm real quick. Come on, Myrcella, eat up. So Myrcella has very, very slight Enigma syndrome. It's almost not noticeable. Come on. I know you see it. Don't toy with me. And I got her in June of 2016, so I've had her for quite some time now. She is a sassy little lady, doesn't like being held, and really likes to be left to her own devices. Go ahead, eat it. Why are you being like this? She's very energetic. She has escaped her enclosure before. She's just a really great gecko. She was actually cohabbed with other geckos before and is missing part of her toe because it got bit off, and I think she also did some damage to the geckos that she was cohabbed with, so if anyone ever needed a reminder not to cohab geckos, that's why. This is Fritz. He loves his food. See? Look at that. He just let it know. He let it know. He is my first leopard gecko that I ever had. I don't know his morph. I adopted him from Happy Gecko Rescue, which is no longer a thing. In fact, it was only open very briefly. And I got Fritz July 1st, 2015. So I've had him for 3 years, and that means my leopard gecko experience is 3 years old. Fritz is like the most gecko of all the geckos. He's very calm. He really likes to just, you know, be on his own. He loves food. He never really stops eating. He's a lot like Vash. Vash and him are like the most gecko-y geckos, my fiance and I like to say, which means they both are just these chubby little dinosaurs that like, you know, being left alone to explore their own habitat and eat on their own terms. And they don't have any health problems. They're just normal, happy geckos. Now this is Amy. I doubt she's gonna eat because she's been ovulating, so it's really not her thing right now. Food is not an interest to her. Come on. See, she's not even looking at it. Doesn't even care. Does not even care. Won't even give me the time of day. Amy has absolutely no health problems, so when she wants to eat, she just eats the worm right away. But the thing to know about Amy is that she's beautiful. Let me show you her. Beautiful. And that I've had her for almost 3 years. I got her in November of 2015. She was the third leopard gecko that I ever got, and when I first got her I thought she was a boy, so I named her Aemon after Aemon Targaryen, just to find out that she was a girl. So now I call her Amy, which is a lot more girly sounding than Aemon, the old man from Game of Thrones. So this is Shireen. She is just a cute little darling. I had to feed her off camera because she is an enigma with severe enigma syndrome, and basically that means feeding her on camera is incredibly difficult. Also, I can't get over how cute she is licking her face right now. So Shireen was a breeder for most of her life. She made a bunch of babies that also have enigma syndrome, and it's quite unfortunate. Oh, there you go. Sometimes she does that after she eats because it stresses her out having the worm in her mouth and her throat. Poor thing. But she is doing really well otherwise. She stopped ovulating. She didn't lose that much weight during ovulation. She's starting to get her color back. She used to be all orange before I ever met her. But yeah, she's not orange anymore because breeding literally like destroyed her. Now she's gray with spots of orange, has severe enigma syndrome. She was really skinny when I got her, and even skinnier before I got her, and she's missing part of her tail. It's just, she's a mess. She's a mess, but she's a beautiful mess, and she's still really doing well in terms of eating and shedding and really getting along. So, hi, sweetie. Oh, you pretty thing. Here, I'm gonna have to move you, okay? Don't get too stressed out. I'm gonna have to move you so I can put your cave back, okay? I know. I know. I'm not feeding you right now. You know the difference. Hi, beautiful honey. Alright, ready? We're gonna do a quick swipe so you don't get really stressed out, okay? There we go, quick swipe. Good girl. Here's your cave. You can go back into your darkness. Oh, she's stressed out. That's okay, honey. It's just a super worm. That's okay. I know, honey. Oh, it's terrible. Now she's stargazing. That's an enigma syndrome symptom. Hi, sweetheart. And she's circling, which is another symptom. Hi, honey. It's okay. Alright, we're gonna move on to Melisandre and let you get back to your business, okay? So I chose to tongue feed her off camera because the other day she actually got my finger. It was very painful and she didn't let go right away. She's a ferocious eater. Right now she's numbing down a really big super worm. But anyway, yeah, this is Melisandre. She's Max Snow, Belle Albino, Tangerine Max Snow, Belle Albino. So that's where those red eyes come into play, which of course she's not showing you right now. Let them see your beautiful eyes, baby girl. There you are. So there's her red eyes. And yeah, she's just a stunning little lady who's currently nomming down her food. And I've had her for a year now. In fact, the only gecko I have gotten in the last year would be Meera, and the rest I got over a year ago now. But as you can see, she's missing the tip of her tail, like many of my enigmas are. And other than that, she's very similar to Eddard in terms of her syndrome. She's not as bad as Shireen. Of course, there's a poop. The one poop I didn't clean up yet. Anyways, Melisandre is very similar in terms of her enigma syndrome to Eddard, and is not as bad as Sam and Gilly, who you'll meet soon, and she's not as bad as Shireen, but she's just a beautiful lady, and also very, very food-oriented. I want to see if I still have the scab. I don't think you can see it. There's like a little mark on my finger. You can't see it anymore. It's like a circle, like right on the left of my thumb, where she caught me with her mouth, and she pinched so hard I bled. It was the first time a leopard gecko ever made me bleed, but it's okay. I forgave her because I know it wasn't on purpose. Yes. Now she's going back to her hide, and I'm gonna go clean up her poop and hope she doesn't bite me. Oh look, it's Tormund being desperate. Pay attention to me, feed me, love me. Tormund has such a personality, I swear. How you doing, little girl? Let me clean up your poops real quick and then I'll feed you. Yeah, you poop a lot. You a nasty poo-poos. Here, I'll put your thing back. Okay, let me get you some food. Look here. Hey. Good girl. So Tormund, you may have noticed, has one little eye and one big eye. And the little eye is on this side right here, and the big eye, which is the normal eye, is on the other side. This is caused by the fact that Tormund is het for 2 albino strains. So Tormund is het for Belle and Tremper, I believe. It also gave Tormund a slight neurological disorder. It's gotten better as she's gotten older, but it's definitely noticeable sometimes. But other than that, like, Tormund is thriving. Also, Tormund was temperature sex male by the breeder, but Tormund has turned out to be a female, so I named Tormund Tormund, a very masculine character from Game of Thrones, prior to finding out that she is actually a she. So, Tormund, named Tormund, but actually a lady. Oh well, it's just a name, doesn't bother me any, but yeah, that's Tormund. She is just over a year old now, just like Lyanna, and she's just a beautiful big lady. She's doing so well. And her eye, we thought that she might be blinded because it was so little, but actually you can see her little tiny pupil and everything, so she has vision. It's just a small little eye. Isn't that right, sweetie? Isn't that right, sweetie? Yes. Here, go back in your house. Go on. Go on. Atta girl. So this gecko here, wigging out on my hand, is Gilly. She's lost a bit of weight due to ovulation. She's still not really underweight, but she's not as thick as I'd like her to be. As you can see, she's got stuck shut on her hands. She just had some on her tail, which I already peeled off. Here it is. It's a very cute tail shape. But I'm gonna work on her getting this shed off, and then I'm gonna feed her. So I'm obviously not gonna show her feeding. She might not actually even eat because she's been ovulating. This one over here is her sister Sam. Right now you can see she's circling. Oh, I probably forgot to mention they both have really severe enigma syndrome. And also I want to note that the reason they're housed together is because when they came to me, Gilly was almost dead and Sam was, you know, definitely needing some TLC. And I got them housed together. They came housed together, I mean. And when the person was giving them to me, she said that it's an absolute must that they stay together, because if they're not together, they stop eating and stop moving and generally just lose quality of life. And I didn't believe that, but I have witnessed geckos housed together that I've gotten from people, and I've separated them because I thought it was inappropriate that they were housed together. Sam and Gilly, however, do not act like normal geckos housed together at all. It's like the weirdest thing. I'll include a video where I talk about it below, But I really want to reiterate, I don't condone housing leopard geckos together. This is a severe, extreme situation, and I would not do this for any other pair of geckos. So that's Sam right there, Tangerine Enigma. This is Gilly, Tangerine Enigma. They're from the same clutch. They're literally birth sisters, been together all their lives. And I'm gonna get the stuck shit off her feet now, which is a very stressful process for her, so wish me some luck. Oh, and I should probably mention the reason that she has stuck shit is because of her Enigma syndrome. All the geckos in the house have humid hides. Humid hides are essential for preventing stuck shed, but because she's an Enigma, she has difficulty shedding, and so therefore she doesn't get all of it off. As you see, it's mostly just her toes, and then she had some on her tail, and usually it's not more than that, but she's able to get the rest on her own. I just have to help with these little feet. So right now she's just getting a little bit of soaking. If I put her in too much water, she may seizure. She's had one seizure before. If you really want to know more about Sam and Gilly, they have a video all about them. And then you can also look at the Enigma Syndrome series, which talks all about them and their other Enigma friends in this family. I promise you, everyone is really well cared for. Everyone is loved. They just have special needs compared to regular leopard geckos. Also, hi Tywin, I'll be with you in a minute. Okay, buddy? He's being so patient. Right now she's circling because she's stressed out. They pretty much just circle all the time. That's how severe their syndrome is. But anyway, I'm gonna get to it and then I'll show you guys Tywin. Pleasant update, she ate. And now the shed's off her feet. And that cute one back there also ate. Good job, girls. There he is, my little hunter. He literally lives in that cave and only comes out to eat food. And then when he knows I'm done feeding him, he goes away. So this is Tywin, and he is a massive leopard gecko at like 120 grams. He's a big dude, and I love him to death. And he's a very funny gecko. Like, he just really, really loves his superworms. Man, does he love superworms. And he also loves to climb up his enclosure, up this little tube, and poop up here. This is where he poops, the only place he poops. He will not poop anywhere else but up there. He literally goes out of his way to climb up there to poop. So that's Tywin. And I have no idea how old he is. I don't know his morph. The person I got him from knew literally nothing about him, didn't even get his weight right when he was guessing his weight. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyways, he's a great addition to this family. I've had him for, let's see, when did I get you? Right after Sam and Gilly, so that would be, I probably got you in October of 2016. Yep, October 2016. He was the last leopard gecko that I got in 2016. I didn't get my next gecko until Asha, who's an African fat tail, who you saw earlier, until, look, he knows he's done. Bye. Wow, I feel the love. Goodbye, buddy. But anyways, yeah, so that's Tywin. So this is my gecko Renly, and right now she's playing in her calcium, which is something she does every single day, and that's why it's always empty, and that's why her cork bark and her ground are always covered in calcium. I literally cleaned this 2 days ago, and all of her calcium was like an inch thick off of the paper or cabinet liner. So that's Renly, my little goof. She's my second leopard gecko I ever had. I rescued her. She was super tiny. They thought she was a boy. They were just feeding her crickets like once a week, just tossing them in the enclosure. It was really terrible, but I'm gonna try and give her a superworm. She can be a little picky about eating. She has some depth perception issues due to how big her eyes are, but she's really good at eating with a little bit of assistance. So let me go and get one. Let's see if she'll eat off tongs. Come on. Oh. Come on. See, she's like, okay, well, she got it. Do you want another one? That one was little. You can come out and get another. But you gotta come out and get it, because I'm not gonna try and feed you back there again. But yeah, as you can see, her eyes are proportionally large compared to her head. And the next gecko you're gonna see has really big eyes too, but Renly's are definitely bigger in proportion to her head. And typically, this is not a trait you would breed in leopard geckos. That's why a lot of these are labeled as pet only. But I got her from someone who's keeping her as a pet, probably got her from like Petco or something. She's making crazy eyes at her food, so I kind of want to show you guys again. Go for it. Good job. That's disgusting. Good job. Oh, goodness, that's a crunch. How can something that's literally killing something else look so cute? I don't understand. Look at those eyes. Look at that tongue. Goodness me. But anyways, yeah, that's Renly, and I got her almost 3 years ago. I got her in September of 2015. She was my second leopard gecko ever. I think I said that. She was right after Fritz. A couple months after I got Fritz, I saw her on Craigslist and I fell in love with her. And also, she's the oldest. She was 6 or 7 years old when I got her, which would put her at 9 to 10 years old now. Which is like crazy to think about. Was that yummy? So this is Brienne. She's making crazy eyes at me and she's gonna eat this like pretty soon. Hurry up, it's getting away. Good girl. Good girl, oh my goodness. Delicious, delicious. So anyway, this is Brienne, and I got her when I got Varys, who you might remember I mentioned way earlier in the video. I said that he is a big gecko, but that he had been half his size. Well, sorry this is so shaky, I'm like sitting in a weird angle to try and see her, but Brienne was also half her size when I got her. She was full grown, just like Varys, but she was only 38 grams, so she was very underfed, and they had been kept in really not clean enclosures. I don't know what he was feeding them, but yeah, I got Brienne and Varys from those conditions, and they had stuck shed, well, especially Brienne. Brienne really had stuck shed, but Varys didn't have so much. So now she's like 70 grams. I think Varys is like 80, almost 90, and she's 70, almost 80. They're big geckos, and she's very food crazy. So like right now she'd be like, don't touch me, give me more food, please. But yeah, that's her. Just a beautiful little tangerine queen, named after Brienne of Tarth. And she's also a crazy gecko. Like she'll like attack other geckos if she could. Like obviously she's not with them, but like when she sees them, she's very aggressive. And also she's escaped her enclosure many times. She's not this enclosure, fortunately. This is like a foolproof one against her. But before this, she would escape her enclosures, and she's look at that, the evilness in her eyes. All right, Brienne, say bye to everybody. So this is my cave gecko's enclosure. I don't know where she is at the moment. Cave geckos, if you didn't know, are like leopard geckos but small and black, and they really like to be left alone, which is probably going to be very upsetting for her that I show her on camera. But there's her face right there. You can't see it. Let me see if I can get some. I'm sorry, sweetie. I know. She's like, it's still light out. I'm trying to sleep. But that's her, my beautiful little Nimria. Oh, honey, I know. Okay, I'll put you back. I'm sorry. I just wanted to show her. And then I'll talk about her with, you know, her not on camera since she doesn't want to be seen. But Nimria, like I said, is a cave gecko. And she is almost a year old. I think she was born in August or September of last year, so she'll literally be a year old very soon. I don't remember how I had this anymore. Oh no. So yes, this is her enclosure. It's like covered in these dusties from her plants and from the cork bark, but I promise you it's clean otherwise, except she keeps pooping in there. That's like her favorite place to poop. But anyways, she's a cave gecko. I'm pretty sure she's a she because she's almost a year old, so she would have the signs of whether she's a male or a female by now. But cave geckos are notoriously shy. They are nocturnal and they live in caves, obviously, as the name would imply. So they like moist, dark conditions, and they don't require a heater so long as your room doesn't get colder than 70 or hotter than 80. That's like the perfect temperature range for that. But yeah, that's Nimria, and I'll include like another photo of her since it wasn't really a good image of her, but just keep in mind that cave geckos are shy and they like to be left alone. And she definitely fits that bill, although she's let me see her eat already since she's gotten home, which is incredible. And she's also let me touch her to get like a little bit of shed off her tip of her nose. I mean, it was just wild. Like, she's been really, really great. So I'm super lucky so far with how just astounding she's been. So her dooby roaches are back in there in her bowl, which is that little blue thing right back there. And, oh, can you see her face? You can see her butt. You can see her tail right in there, but it's really dark. But anyways, so her house has been sprayed and she's ready to go for the night. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Brienne, my crested gecko. Okay, now that she has calmed down a bit, this is Brienne, my crested gecko. She is a lovely little lady, aside from the fact that she is just really not interested in being handled. And she's been like that ever since she was a baby. Even her former owners, who sold her to me as adoptable and that she shouldn't be bred and that she was a slow grower, and all of the things are true. They also said that she was a bit aggressive, a bit flighty, and was even more flighty than their normal babies, which is like, oh dear. Of course, my first crested gecko, I decided to get one that's flighty. But regardless, I love Ree. She's the first gecko I've ever had. I've had her the longest. I got her in June of 2014. She was the first reptile I had as an adult and really kicked off this family. And so I just really love her to death, and she's great. I'd also like to add that Ree will be turning, let's see, 6 years old, because she was born 2012 and this is 2018, so yes, she'll be 6 years old this year. Won't you, little lady? Her birthday is like September 29th or 23rd. I don't know, there's a lot of birthdays in September, so it gets confusing, but I think her birthday is September 23rd, 2012. So she'll be a whopping 6 years old. Oh, she's so beautiful. I love her to death. Okay, this is the last gecko, so that's it. Now cue the outro. Ouch, I just hit my finger on her Exoterra door. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Make sure that you turn on the bell for notifications, leave a comment, check the links below, all that good stuff. If you're interested in seeing Benjen or Renly, who are two geckos that you met in this video, as posters, or if you're interested in any t-shirts or mugs or anything like that, a lot of the geckos that we're seeing in this video already have merch out. The link is down below if you're interested in that stuff at all. It helps me out. You get a cute little gecko merch, and it works for everybody, but that's only if you're interested. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!